Ben, we're live.
Oh my
Let's
God.
go.
Oh my God. Oh my God, everyone. Welcome to a live edition of the MarTech podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin Shapiro. And today we've got some interesting breaking news. Let's see if I can. We're doing live streams, and I'll be honest, everybody, we're still getting used to where all the buttons are. So bear with me here. But somewhere in this live stream, there is a Jordan Koene, and you can hear him.
I'm here.
He's here.
Can you hear me?
You can't see him.
Good.
There he is.
Now you can see me.
There's
we go.
Jordan
There
Koene.
we go.
Okay.
There
All
we
right.
go.
So,
Here we go.
everybody, breaking news. I hope you're listening. Here's the ramp up. Let me see if I can get you on the right screen. ChatGPT, OpenAI, Sam Altman. They have announced that they are launching ChatGPT Search. Search GPT. Now they are hedging this. They've said that it is a temporary beta project. Let's take a look here.
Correct.
Let's see if I can do a screen share.
There we go.
You see anything?
Nope. Just a nice looking background there.
All right, there we go.
Now we're live.
Right? See, Jordan, I could do this.
Yep.
So ChatGPT launched a search product. Jordan, give me your reaction.
Yes. About damn time. I mean, a lot of people have been doing searches in ChatGPT, obviously. People have been building their own search functionality and tools and building assisted search through generative AI. But this is super exciting because it'll be a native product. It gives us a whole new channel that possibly could be useful. And I ultimately think like the world's been waiting for something like this in terms of how both OpenAI is going to advance their product set, but can OpenAI give a run towards how consumers search in a more systematic and maybe even more useful and streamlined way? We'll see.
Jordan,
talk to me.
Have I mentioned I'm new to live streaming?
Yes,
I'm trying really hard over here. There we go. Trying really hard over here to react to the news that OpenAI has a competitor to every search product, but namely a shot across the bow at Google. And all I could focus on is that you are taking this from what must be inside the Packers locker room.
It's the Packers locker room.
Look, we're on the MarTech podcast, not the Voices of Search podcast this time. We're on my show now. And not everybody understands why you look like you're inside Brett Favre's helmet. Explain, please.
Because I'm in Green Bay right now. So that's why. It's very simple. And if you would have done a ChatGPT search, it would have told you Jordan's in Green Bay. So, but no, this is actually exciting news in another way. And I want to bring it up because this is, I think, the most important thing about this whole announcement. And the reality is that OpenAI has clearly stated that they are going to be very deliberate about how they highlight partners, how they highlight publishers, and how they highlight creators within search. And if there's been anything that we as SEOs and as marketers, and in many cases, companies, brands, and legal teams for massive companies have been arguing is that Google has been cannibalizing and essentially reducing the share of engagement or click to their sites. And so this could be instrumental in kind of their marketing campaign of getting adoption to search is, hey, look, we're just going to give you more access to more content. And I do think that people and users want that. So I think this could be a great opportunity for us as SEOs to capitalize on this new search channel.
Now, Jordan, I think I have figured out how to see you, how to see what the views are in this live top, and how to screen share. So let's walk through this because I think I can do this. Jordan, here's their website. Search GPT prototype. We're testing Search GPT, a temporary prototype of a new AI feature that gives you fast and timely answers with clear and relevant sources. Now, when we scroll down, they've got a couple fancy, it's kind of a googly search box, nothing on the page other than the search. And it goes into a conversation that can show you images, but it basically looks like ChatGPT, but with better citation. So when you're looking through the experience here, that looks like an answer box. What are you seeing in terms of sort of a quick glance at some of the screenshots that GPT search looks like?
Well, I think they're using some of the native benefits that that ChatGPT has always provided, which is text-based answers with refined data and information. I think they are mimicking a lot of what Google has done in terms of answer boxes and carousel features to show related sources. But ultimately, I think the one of the most engaging things that I've seen so far is that it isn't cluttered with ads. It's maybe not what I'm seeing in there. It's what I'm not seeing that's kind of exciting right now. And that is that any marketer should be thinking about this as, well, what can I be contributing to OpenAI to become more visible in this platform that today, from these initial screenshots, isn't filled and smashed with a bunch of ads and ad experiences.
They are out Googling Google, Jordan. ChatGPT is to Google as Google is to Yahoo, right? Like that. What made Google great? It was a search box with a logo, and then you got answers, and it gave you the links to navigate to where you wanted to go, and that was it. And it was mind-breakingly simple, and they took out all of the clutter that was the Google or the Yahoo at that time website. So let's do this. Can you still see my screen?
I can still see your screen.
Right? This was so innovative because there was nothing on the screen, and it seems like they are basically copying that underlying use case, right? And it, there's a ton of stuff here in Google, and people aren't Googling when they're just going to this web page, right? It's all integrated in their phone. There's always other news stories and stuff, and now it just seems like this is a search box, and it's kind of going back to basics, in my opinion. I do think that the data structure has to be similar to what Google's doing, in the sense of they're providing answers, mostly the answer box solution, with a couple of navigational links, or they're doing, here's the weather and the report for the next couple of days. Like that's all answer box stuff for the SEO nerds out there. What does this tell you about how they're ingesting and using and visualizing data?
Well, I think that's one of the great benefits here is that they're evolving a content-based generative AI model, which is ChatGPT, right? They're incorporating image assets, reference sources, and they're building a rich experience, an experience arguably that is Google today, right? But the ability to do that through generative AI, I think is really where the power is going to come out of this, chat search experience. The other component to this that I think is quite unique is that ultimately the only players who are going to be permitted to show up in this search experience are companies that allow OpenAI to crawl their site. And you may recall, Ben, there was a huge backlash from thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of brands around the idea of allowing OpenAI to crawl their content. And even within this prototype search article, if you scroll down to about 2/3 of the way down, Ben, before the quote from the Atlantic in this article, right here, just above this, if you scroll up just a little bit more, Ben, there is a section in here. Sorry, you might have gone too far up. There's a section in here.
Go ahead.
That is under that ultimately has a link to their policies and their documentation on OpenAI crawlers. So they're literally using this press release to engage webmasters, businesses marketers, leaders to rethink their policy around letting OpenAI crawl and consume and use their content and data. And no smarter way than doing it through a search engine.
Yeah, it's interesting because this basically gets all of the businesses that are out there to say, okay, look, forget about this. This thing's going to be huge. We should open up our content to be crawled because we want visibility in the search product. And that gives the data, that gives ChatGPT enough data. It's volunteering data for free so they can continue to evolve their model. At some point here, getting access to the data doesn't matter if the model's good enough. I was listening to Sam Altman speak yesterday about how at some point, like, the data set is enough that the models can interpret everything that they need to become more intelligent enough, and it becomes a model creation problem more than it is a data. But right now it seems like an arms race for data. Is this a let's grab more data strategy? Is this a tool that you think ChatGPT is, or OpenAI, I should say, is going to start to build, and we have a real competitive race in search? Where do you think this goes?
I certainly hope so. I mean, I'd be surprised if OpenAI is just using this as a publicity stunt. And it's not to say that they haven't done that in the past. They certainly have, with different features and capabilities across the products that they've offered. But the reality is that I candidly do think that consumers are looking for alternatives, ways to search for content. And historically, and we've talked about this a lot in the Voices of Search podcast, we've talked about this a lot in general, Ben. There's a reality here that consumers today have trained themselves in verticalized search. If I'm looking for restaurants, I'm going to go to Yelp. If I'm looking for hotel information, I'm going to go to TripAdvisor. If I'm looking to buy a product, I'm going to research it in Amazon. And we've verticalized ourselves in search, but there has not been a dominant horizontal player in search in a long time. And this could be an answer to how consumers seek out information and content in a more horizontal way.
When you say horizontal, you mean someone that is doing search as opposed to someone that has e-commerce search or social search, right? There's Etsy and Amazon and Yelp, local search. That's what you mean by verticalized. And horizontal, you're like,
Correct.
Yeah, but there's no one's been competing with like Google for everything. And so you think that this is, I think this is huge because I think that this is a real competitor. Now, my big question to you, Jordan, let's see if I can do this. Dang, I'm terrible at this live stream producing. Here's my big question, Jordan. Get ready.
Let's hear it, Ben.
This is just me.
I'm ready.
Does any of this matter? Right? Like,
who knows? Who knows?
Hang on. Before you answer, you're not even on screen. The question is,
I'm not on screen yet.
You're not even on screen. No one can see you. It's just me right now. What matters are people just going to go to ChatGPT and use it as a search engine? That's what I do already. I do way less Google searching. Or are they going to go to standalone search and it gets separated from the like GPT product?
Here's the reality. Adoption here is going to require much more than an unveiling. It's going to require a genuine appetite to secure consumers' desires in how they search. Like, here's the reality. Like, the experience that ChatGPT Search or OpenAI Search can provide is only as good as the options that they provide users, how fast it renders, where it integrates, how you navigate to these experiences. It's really only as rich as the full experience they provide. So for them to just launch this and make a media stunt out of it is as good as Bing made a media stunt out of saying they're going to integrate OpenAI into their search engine. a whole bunch of people flock to Bing. Nobody's using Bing today. Nobody. Millions of people signed up for Bing, and now what they're doing is deleting it from their phones. So the reality here is, how will this new search experience engage users to come back and perform searches over and over and over again? That stickiness factor is ultimately the big question that they're probably going to answer in a prototype, because this is just a prototype. They're just testing this right now. They're going to figure out, can we get users to use this more than Google? If they can answer that, they might actually have something worth launching publicly long term.
Sorry for making the screens dance, everybody who's watching at home.
There's
Trying
a
to figure out
whole
which
bunch of
button
dizzy
is the one
people
where
right
we
now.
can have a debate. This is the debate screen. I figured this one out. This is two boxes of us yelling at each other like we're on Squawk Box. You want to be Tony and I'll be Mike? We could do PTI.
There we go.
Like,
there it is.
Look,
down.
I hate this. I have to go big screen. Jordan, I agree with you. All right, back to the debate.
Oh, you do.
I do. I think maybe it's just how I use ChatGPT. This is a user interface that's going to be integrated into ChatGPT, the app, ChatGPT, the website that everybody's using, and eventually into the operating system that they're inevitably going to build. I think that this is just a way to say, we understand that people like search. And so we're just going to build a Google because it's not that hard for us. I don't know if anybody's going to use it, but they're just going to fold this into the regular experience of all the places that people are, because they've got 100 million users or something like that. It's some crazy number. I hate agreeing with you.
I hate to bring this up, but like, we have to all realize, like, Google is in the middle of a litigation. We're still waiting to hear what the results of that litigation are going to be. But the central thesis of the US government's case against Google is that they paid tons of money and essentially conned users into using their products in Apple, in all these other integrations. So the question will now become, and remember, even in that litigation, Google's lawyers said this case can't come at a worse time when competition is going to scale, and here it is, right? So now companies like Apple and other companies that leverage search as a part of their experience have a new partner. A new partner is on the scene, and that's OpenAI. So will they be able to acquire users and secure the market share that no one else has been able to do? The answer is, we're way too soon on those answers, but they're starting with this prototype, and candidly, they're starting with the right marketing message, which is, we're going to be favorable to partners, we're going to be favorable to content creators, we're going to be favorable to brands, and we're going to ensure that their content is accessible through this new search experience.
Here's a controversial take. This is the best thing that ever happened to Google. Because now, all of a sudden, there is a real incredible threat while they're going through an antitrust case. And how could anybody say there's no threat to their core and existing business and that they're the only dominant advertising player? Search is under attack. Facebook is almost equal, if not the same size, ad business. Because they bought YouTube, all of a sudden, right, TikTok is under attack from YouTube, and they're trying to get into social shorts. There's all sorts of competition in all sorts of places. Hardware, there's obviously competition. So doesn't this help Google in some capacity?
I mean, I certainly think it helps Google from the perspective of, like, they are now incredibly focused on a competitive market, that they have actually something to care about that they haven't had to in the history of the business. Their cash cow is under threat, and that is search. And if OpenAI can create a product that engages consumers and users of the web to search on their product, advertisers will follow. And that happened 10 years ago with social media, or maybe 15 years ago now with social media. It can happen. The question is, for Google right now, is how do they still stay relevant? How do they still control market share? And what products do they need to build, or experiences do they need to create to continue to engage users of search, right? And I mean, and arguably, are they still building an experience that is self-serving, or are they building an experience that is actually useful to the user that they claim is a searcher?
Maybe it's a PR stunt. Maybe it's a feature that they're integrating into the larger AI experience. Maybe it's nothing more than Sam Altman having a tweet showing us a web page. Who knows? I think what really matters is, Jordan, I actually found the square one next to where we can do the live chat, and we are squares and people can see the beautiful background that I built. So maybe ChatGPT isn't the biggest moment here. Maybe it's that we actually did the live stream, and other than me having fat fingers and pressing a couple buttons at the same time, I think we actually covered some important stuff. Any last words?
No, I'm super excited about this. If you haven't, please go join the wait list. Any digital marketer or SEO should absolutely join this wait list and experiment. I already put my claim out on LinkedIn. For the next month, I am going to be doing all of my searches in OpenAI's new search product and Search GPT.
Okay, well, I think we might have lost you at the end, Jordan, there. Apparently, the Wi-Fi isn't as good in Green Bay as it is in Northern California. Come on home, my man. We miss you. Happy birthday to Katie, the big, let's say 3-9 again. And thanks for joining the MarTech podcast. Jordan, anything you want to plug? Anything you want to tell everybody about before anybody that's listening signs off?
Come check me out on LinkedIn. Check out Previsible. .io, our website, if you want to learn more about SEO and search.
Jordan's the best in the business, everybody. Previsible.io. That wraps up this live edition of the MarTech podcast. I'm Benjamin Shapiro. This was live streamed to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and we're going to cut it up, turn it into podcast, turn it into some social stuff. Got some breaking news. If you want to do something like this, go to iheareverything.com and we can produce a media brand for you. Take care. Bye-bye.